Hi everyone, welcome to Madonna University's College of Nursing and Health. I'm Anne-Marie Knoerl, Assistant Professor in the College of Nursing. I'm very excited to welcome you as you begin your education at Madonna. I've been asked to speak to you regarding professionalism within the profession, as well as the expectations that you as a student will need to uphold while you are in our program. Thinking about professionalism is specific characteristics and behaviors that allow us to be credible, reliable, trustworthy, and an expectation that people have for us as nurses. The first area that comes under professionalism is appearance. Please note in your undergraduate handbook, there are specific guidelines for dress attire, but I just want to do a few general tips. Please know that when you come to any of the campuses or simulations or labs, you need to come in the appropriate dress attire for your experience. You also need to be aware when you go into the clinical setting or into the field what the dress attire is for that event or experience. If you do not have that dress attire, there is a possibility that you would be sent home because of the expectation of the agencies, the hospitals, and the communities. We're expecting you to be neat, well-groomed, manicured fingernails. If you have a tattoo, it needs to be covered. And these are guidelines that are given to us also by the hospitals and agencies that we work at. Want to talk to you a little bit about being on time. Everybody has a different definition, I think, of being on time. Our definition at Madonna Nursing is that you need to be wherever it is that you're scheduled for 15 minutes ahead of time. If you have an assignment and it's due on a particular date and time, it needs to be submitted by that date or time, or else it will be considered late. Part of our rationale for that is when you go to work in the hospital or in the field, there are deadlines and expectations that you must follow in order to provide safe and quality care to your patients. We're going to have you start emulating those same behaviors as you go through school. Also, how you present yourself with your body language. If you're slumped over, got your hand going, this is so boring, or you have no interest because you're looking at something else, that's sending a message to people. And part of that message is it's saying, I'm not interested, you're not worthwhile. And when you work with patients and their families, they want to know that you're present with them in the moment, that you are going to be there for them, and that you're totally engaged. So we ask that you please be careful and watch your behaviors with your body language. We also are very particular about how you address faculty and people that work within the college. So it's not okay to go, "Hey, Knoerl, how are you?" I understand that that's a way that now a lot of people greet each other, but in the professional world, it would be, "Hi, Professor Knoerl, how are you today?" Or, "Good morning, Dr. Talati, how are you?" We need you to address people by their titles and do it in a professional manner. And keeping in mind that when you're talking with them, that you do it in a professional tone, eye contact, if you're in person. If it's an email, that the email is written in such a way that is professional. So for the email, for example, you could write, "Dear Professor Knoerl, hi, how are you today? I'm writing to inquire about a particular situation that I'm in and how you might be able to help me. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Sue Smith." Below that would be your cell phone number and your email address. And then by business etiquette, we have 2 to 3 days to respond to you for your email requests. So please be very cautious when you write emails, that you think about the words you're using, the tone of your email, and how it's going to come across to the reader. It's very hard sometimes when you do an email to get the tone maybe that you're intending to. We also suggest that, say you're having a bad day and you're writing this email because you're mad about something, that we have a 24-hour rule, that you wait 24 hours so that you can let yourself relax and settle before you write a message to any of the folks within the Madonna system. And that way I think you'll get a better engagement with that person. And it's also what we do when we practice professionally. The next thing we do too is we talk about there are going to be times as you work in your career where there may be conflict. And the same may happen when you're going through school. So our process at Madonna is that you use the chain of command. So what that means is if you have some confusion or conflict about something in particular in the course that you're in, that you go to your theory faculty first and address that issue with him or her. If you find that the issue has not been resolved, then the next person up the chain of command would be your course lead. If the issue is not resolved after that, if it is an academic issue, it would then go to Dr. Talati. If it is not addressed at that point to where you feel that you need things resolved and you're good with it, then it would go to the dean, Dr. McKenna. We ask that you please follow that chain of command as you move through, because when you go to the workplace, it's going to be the same process. So as you can see, I'm talking about all different kinds of communication techniques that you're going to use as the professional nurse as well as a student that will convey your message and help you to be an effective nurse to provide care to the person for the mind, the body, and the spirit, as well as be an interdisciplinary team player in the place where you would be employed. I think that's very, very important. The next thing I want to talk to also is being respectful to all of your peers, especially when you're online. Sometimes things can be mistaken when you're writing, so you need to be thoughtful and civil in your words and in your tone. And then also the same when you are anywhere, either on the main campus in Livonia, the Southfield campus, if you're in a clinical lab setting, or the hospital system. Because remember, every time you're where you are to be, you're on. So I think you want to remember that, because you're going to give that impression to people. And you don't know where you're going to meet people again down the road. When you're in a hospital system, that nurse who's helping you might be the referral that you need to get the job that you want. You may be around nurse managers where you're starting to develop a relationship with them and they like how you're on time, how you're dressed appropriately, how you're using the appropriate words and language when you're talking with them for the profession of nursing, and they may consider you for employment, a special position, a special job within the hospital. And so you want to always make sure that you're thinking about how you are presenting yourself. The next thing I kind of want to talk about is being on time for things. One of the things we've noticed is that students, when they start nursing and coming from different programs, have different time management skills. We recommend as you begin the program that you purchase some type of a calendar, or if you can use the calendar on your phone and be proficient so that you use a timeline to be able to mark when you need to have your work done so that it can be on time, professionally written, submitted in the way that it's been asked for, and that you don't get behind the 8 ball. I think that will really, really help. The next thing that I want to address is social media. We live in a world where everything is very much on the internet. In the role of professional nursing, you are not to put anything that you do in clinical, hospitals, classes, break rooms on the internet. That includes Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. That is based on rules from the American Nurses Association, and those rules are taken very seriously. And the implications would be real world. So please keep in mind again that you are not to share any other personal information about patients, about where you saw them, any personal information about their situation. You'll be learning a little bit more about that when you look into and become more familiar with HIPAA. But to get you started out, I just want to keep that thought in the back of your mind, because you may be talking to a friend who knows Mrs. Smith, and Mrs. Smith doesn't want anyone to know that you came to see her. And then that neighbor's running to Mrs. Smith's house going, "What's up? Are you okay?" And we broke that confidence. It's just not acceptable within the profession. So we want to really make sure you start thinking that way as you move forward. The next thing I want to talk about is about academic integrity. Throughout the presentation today, I think somewhere you will, if not already, talked about that. But nursing is the most trusted profession in the United States. And part of that means that people view us as honest, forthright, and not having to second guess. That is also the expectation for the work that you will do with us as you move through your academic career. We have many policies in place. Cheating is not allowed. Plagiarism is not allowed. If you need help, there are so many resources to take advantage of to help you. Or if you have a question, reach out to your faculty, and they would be happy to try to guide you or get you the resources that you need, because we want you to be that nurse that people in the Madonna community are aware of, as well as in the community. The last thing I just wanted to talk about is one of the premises that we value what we do at Madonna, and one of the things that makes us stand out is we keep in mind the Franciscan values of the Felician Sisters. Those values, which are to serve those who are underserved, to assess at-risk populations, to use our intellectual inquiry to problem solve, to appreciate creation and life, and also to serve and use our general education courses to provide holistic care, are some of those values that you're going to see intertwined into your work, as well as what is considered for your professional behavior. So I'm hoping that I spent a few minutes just giving you some ideas about the expectations about being on time. Being late is not acceptable, that we want to help you, there's resources available, that when you come to class, or if you're asked to videotape something, that you're in appropriate clothing for the situation. And we want you to make new friends, build new skills, and become that professional nurse that we know you all will be upon graduation. I wish you the very best. And as an alum from Madonna University, I am excited to be able to meet you at the end of graduation to welcome you as a professional nurse and wish you the best in your academic journey. Be safe, be well. Take care.